Hi everyone. I am the nerd behind Dragonborn ES. So why would someone like me show their beautiful face to the interwebs? And that is because I wanted to go over my channel history just because why not? Uh, so without any further ado, before I do that, I just wanted to give a personal thank you to everybody who's watched, liked, commented, subscribed, shared this video with their friends, everything like that. Uh, I never thought I would have over 700 subscribers, and I know that's not a lot, but it's more than I thought I would have. Before I go into my channel history, I wanted to personally announce that my next scenario, number 50, will be the final scenario of the EAS scenario series. And I'm going to consider it my soft retirement because I will occasionally upload an EAS remaster in mini scenarios, but in terms of just regular 10 to 20 minute scenarios, yeah, this next one will be the last one. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get into my channel history. If you hear me any keyboard sounds, I'm just pressing the down arrow because I'm looking at notes right now because there's a lot of information on here that I want to get through, and yeah, so let's get into it. So how did I even get into EAS scenarios, you might be wondering? Well, it all starts, like most things do, in the summer of 2020 when I found this channel called Professor Brain Corporation. The first ever EAS scenario I ever watched was Yellowstone Eruption. And I remember I was very invested in his scenarios up until about August of 2020 when I lost interest. That was my first foray into EAS scenarios, but I didn't permanently get into EAS scenarios until the end of 2021, early 2022, when I found the one, the only, SBC Hermitage. Yeah, that's right. I found him right as he uploaded the 2022 trailer. You know, that big mega scenario that's over 2.5 hours long. I can't remember the specific reason why I decided to make my own around May 2022, but I did. And the thing to note is that I had already been making YouTube videos on my music channel since September 2021, so I had some experience already. So that's why my first scenario isn't as horrible as some others were, but it's still pretty freaking horrible. It had the wrong voice, the wrong font. The aspect ratio was no. It only had one alert, actually, so it was a pretty freaking massive failure. I uploaded that scenario on May 15th, 2022, and created the channel for it that day. Anyway, my next three scenarios were all made within the 2 days of each other. Scenario number 2, World War III Part 2, came out later that day on May 15th. Scenario number 3, The Purge, came out May 16th, and then scenario number 4, The Disease, released on May 17th, 2022. And fun fact, I actually recorded myself making scenario number 4, and wanted to upload it as a time lapse, but I just deleted it because it's pointless. Anyway, after that, I just kind of took a break for a month. I didn't know why, but I just did. Anyway, I returned with scenario number 5, World War III Part 3, on June 16th, 2022, about a month later, and this is what I call the end of Season 1 of Dragonborn ES, or the Sporadic Era. And this is when I fully transitioned to making scenarios as often as I could. So my first order of business was I combined all 3 parts of the World War III series into a movie a day later. And there was actually some controversy with World War III and the fact that I used Germany in it. So if you look at ES scenarios all across YouTube, if you look at World War III scenarios across YouTube, they always mention Russia, they always mention China, they always mention North Korea. And I just wanted to be a little different, you know? There was a lot of controversy around that time too with the Russia-Ukraine war, which is still going on. So that's why I wanted to make it different, but some people did not like that, and yeah, my World War III series does not hold up, and honestly, I don't know if I even want to make a remaster to it, because going at it now with all my experience and stuff, the World War III scenario would be very complex and stuff. But anyway, so after I made the movie, I released scenario number 6, The Terrible Tornado Outbreak of 2031, on June 24th, 2022. I finally had the correct aspect ratio, but you couldn't see anything because the text was so small and low quality. A few days later, on June 29th, 2022, I released scenario number 7, Super Volcano Situation, and that was considered my first big video. It was my first scenario to hit 1,000 views, actually, which you'll see in a minute when I get to it on the timeline. And after that, I released Los Angeles Disaster, scenario number 8, on July 8th, 2022. And then 4 days later, I released Fury of the Flash Floods on July 12th, 2022. And then we get to number 10, Hypnotized, which was the first episode of the Gods of Anarchy series. I made it on vacation, actually. I uploaded it the day after we got back from vacation on July 25th, 2022. But that's something to note. Around this time, I got my first view metrics, and I had around 2,900 views at this point. So after this, I released Hurricane Hell on August 4th, 2022. The quality and text size finally was improved. I don't know what happened, but just randomly, you could see it again. So I was like, wow, that's cool. Next scenario, number 12, Dead But Not Buried. I'm actually really happy with the title on that one. I really like it. But what's funny is that it released on August 9th, 2022, and 2 days later, SPC Hermitage released his own zombie scenario, Z-Virus X.
Coincidence? I think not!
Anyway, August 13th, 4 days later, the Super Volcano Situation hit 1,000 views, so that was pretty cool. So number 13, Super Vol Sabotage, released on August 15th, 2022. And then 12 days later, Smog Gone Wrong, released on August 27th, 2022. This was actually suggested by my mother, which was surprising. So now we get into an interesting part of my channel history. Scenario number 15, The Great New York Blizzard, released on September 6th. And I didn't notice it at the time, but this scenario kind of slowed down because every scenario up to this point had gotten a lot of views, and they were all doing pretty well. But this was the start of the slowdown, but I didn't notice it because it wasn't too noticeable. But then I released The Children Disappearances on September 12th, number 16. It was a flop. Like, people did not watch this one. What's funny is that it's one of my most viewed videos now. I have no idea when the blow-up started, but for a while there, it was just not performing too well. And that is what I call the end of Season 2 of Dragonborn ES, or the initial growth period. Anyway, after this, I got a lot of burnout, and it took me a while to make more scenarios. Like, scenario number 17 took 12 days to make, and it was only 5 minutes, in which half of it was just random TikTok clips. Angry ES, by the way, if you can't remember what it was. That released on September 24th, 2022. But one thing, though, I did reach 5,000 views in September, over a fifth of which was just the Super Volcano Situation alone. So that was crazy. Anyway, number 18, The Great Phoenix Fire, released on October 7th, 2022, and yeah, this one was a flop. Like, I still really think it's underrated, and so if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Please, do so. Anyway, after this, I decided to take a break because I was burned out, I was unmotivated, the scenarios weren't doing that well anyway, so I took a break. I returned with scenario number 19, Alien Armageddon, on November 1st, 2022, and that is what I call the end of Season 3, or the fallback period. After this, I released Episode 2 of the Gods of Anarchy series, The Sound Winds of Death, on November 25th, 2022. This is probably my release favorite because of how simple the plot is, and how short it is. Yeah, not very good. But by December, I had around 10,000 views, so that was pretty cool. So my next big video was on December 1st, 2022, and it was the Great U.S. Riots. This is my second most viewed video, and for the longest time, it was actually my most viewed video, but then it got taken over. I can't remember when. I'm pretty sure I have the screenshot somewhere. If I do, I'll throw it up. This was my biggest video for the longest time. 9 days later, I released U.S. Nuclear Attack on December 9th, 2022. And I originally intended that to be my final scenario of the year, but then for some gosh-stricken reason, I figured out the correct font and the correct voice, and I made a whole scenario within a day. I'm not even joking. Scenario number 23, Fire Netto Fiasco, which released on December 30th, 2022, I made it in a day. I was so happy because for the longest time I've been using this crappy font, and it was just not good at all. And I knew it wasn't the right font, but I just didn't know what the right font was. But I'm glad I found it. Around early January of 2023, I reached 100 subs finally, so that was pretty cool. Scenario number 24, Artificial Overintelligence, released on January 7th, 2023. I was actually the voice of the AI in that episode. I recorded myself and just added a robotic filter to it. And the fact that my mic quality was so bad at the time actually kind of helped. But yeah, go watch that video again and listen to Ostasis, the AI, and you will realize that that is me. Anyway, after that was scenario number 25 on January 13th, 2023, Bloodlust. This was probably one of my biggest mistakes because this was a viewer request and they wanted an Eric Cartman scenario, and I did not know that Eric Cartman was from South Park, okay? I've never watched South Park. Still haven't. So I just made the scenario thinking that's what he wanted the name of the serial killer to be, but no. So whenever I start these EAS remasters, that's going to be one of the first to get remastered because that whole scenario was a dumpster fire, to say the least. But I did make up for it by releasing Bees, scenario number 26, on January 18th, 2023. So after this, I decided to work on my biggest project yet up to that point, EF6, which I wanted to be over an hour long, and this is what I consider the end of Season 4, or the second growth period. And basically, I had no time to make regular scenarios because I was working on this. But January 20th, 2 days after Bees released, I uploaded my first short, and it was actually very popular. It's actually my third most viewed video, counting videos and shorts. I uploaded another one in June, which didn't do that well. I uploaded one in July of this year, or 2024, and then one in September of 2024. I never really had good ideas for shorts, but I'm very happy with the ones I have made. But if you have any shorts ideas, by all means, let me know in the comments. I took a month break, and I was just working on EF6. February, I reached 200 subs around this point, so that was pretty cool. Eventually, though, I decided that EF6 was just taking too much of my time, so I decided to work on both the film and regular EF scenarios. But then I learned that my editing software is garbage, so I canceled EF6. I had already made a trailer for the film at that point, and I still am really proud of the trailer. So I released it on July 6th of 2023, showcasing what the scenario would have looked like with the film. And as you will see later, I never gave up on the idea of making an EF6 scenario. And fun fact, everybody, the software I use to make all my videos is just UCut, or it's a phone app, all right? I make all my scenarios on a phone editing app. Please help me. Anyway, so now that I've canceled the film, I can get back to making the scenarios, right? Well, Dust Bowl 2.0, scenario number 27, released on March 1st, 2023. And then after that, about 3 weeks later, on March 23rd, 2023, I released Magnitude 10. Now, I don't know what happened around this point, but I just could not get back into the groove because I was so used to releasing scenarios at the least every 2 weeks, but for some reason I just could not. And I still have, well, not lately, but back in 2023, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, I'll tell you. I uploaded Angry ES 2 on April Fool's, which it actually wasn't supposed to be an April Fool's video. I just happened to make it on April Fool's, and I just was like, why not? But the series, that scenario became so popular that I started a series called EAS Plays in January of 2024, where the three main voices of the EAS, Tom, Paul, and David, all played video games together, kind of like the President's AI trend, which I still love watching those videos, by the way. I really wish I could make more of the EAS Play series, but it never took off, so I just kind of abandoned it. Oh well. Anyway, around April, I had 25,000 views, and then we get to the big one. Scenario number 29, Asteroid Anarchy, my most popular video as of this recording, released on April 19th, 2023. So, that, I can't remember if it blew up or it just gained a lot of views over time, but All I know is that it's one of my most viewed scenario at this point. I'm still relatively proud of it. That might be one of the first to get remastered as well. Anyway, after that scenario released, nothing really happened for a month until May 14th, 2023, when I reached 300 subs. So that's pretty cool. After that, I released scenario number 30, episode 3 of the Gods of Anarchy series on June 12th, 2023. This reasonably blew up as well. I'm still moderately proud of it. I think the first 3 episodes are kind of meh. Scenario number 4 that I'm really proud of. And you know what? I'm going to let you know a little secret. If you've been watching this far, I haven't actually started making scenario number 50 yet. But I can already tell I think it's going to be one of my best, if not my best. But I gained 14 subscribers from Cyber Terror, scenario number 30, making it the most subs I've gained in a day. And then 5 days later, I just had a random amount of motivation. I released It Came From the Depths on June 17, 2023. And then I made another mistake. I decided to try and make another big scenario, this time called Mega Quake Mayhem. But aside from a poster, it got nowhere because, again, my setup is garbage. And I still am relatively proud of the idea. I can't remember what would have gone into it, but I like the idea of a Mega Quake of sorts. So, who knows? I decided while I was making Mega Quake Mayhem, or trying to write the script for it, I would make mini scenarios. So I uploaded 2 mini scenarios, one about worms, and then one where I pitifully attempted analog horror, which I still want to learn, by the way. I really want to learn how to make analog horror. So if you guys have any tips or good videos on how to make analog horror, by all means, post them in the comments. And then in October 2023, I uploaded an anti-piracy scenario as well. Anyway, number 32, Triple Threat Meltdown, released on September 4th, 2023. There is a comment that suggested a sequel for this, and that might also be one of the first scenarios I released after number 50. Who knows? But around this time, September 2023, I created my ES templates doc, which basically is just a bunch of templates for all sorts of different alerts. Like, it has the basic text, and then it has blanks where I fill in the specific information. It came in handy a lot. So I'm very glad I made it, and it definitely helped speed up scenario creation. By October of 2023, I had around 50,000 views, and I reached 400 subs on October 7th, 2023. So that's pretty cool. About 3 days later, on October 10th, 2023, I released scenario number 33, Fury Flu. This was actually the first scenario where I enlisted the help of AI. Ooh. I just needed ideas for a unique virus, and it gave me that idea, and I really liked it. So I just went and created the video for it. But I try not to use a lot of AI. I recognize AI as a good tool, but I also recognize the need for authenticity with these videos. So, yeah, the only thing I've ever used AI for is script making. All right, just giving an idea and making it come up with the outline, which helps a lot. But I still make the videos. I don't all that. Anyway, after that, I released a Halloween scenario on October 28th, 2023. So that was pretty cool. I decided to take on a monthly release schedule, and I decided to not release any more scenarios for the rest of the year, which I actually stuck to this point. But for the monthly release schedule, I mostly stuck to it. I didn't upload in April or September of 2024, but that was for reasons I'll get to. Anyway, now we are into 24, end of Season 5 of Dragonborn ES, or the intermittent period. And on January 14th, 2024, I released number 34, The Godzilla Get Down. I still don't know what that title is, by the way. But after this, I released scenario number 35, EF6, on February 11th, 2024. This is what I was talking about earlier. I still had the EF6 ideas, but I decided to just turn it into a regular scenario and not a full-length film. After this, I released Midwestern Clown Mayhem on March 8th, 2024. And on March 20th, I reached 500 subscribers, so that was pretty cool. And then Chemical Spell Chaos, I released on March 28th, 2024. So around this time, I was making an album called 18, because 2024 was the year I turned 18 in August, and I was making an album because You know, you gotta feel a little bit sentimental when you're turning 18. But I felt like I was just kind of juggling my album and my scenarios at the same time, so I decided to just focus on my album for now. And so that's why I didn't upload in April. But then I returned with Minecraft Attack, scenario number 38 on May 28th, 2024. This was actually supposed to be scenario number 20 before I had the idea to continue the Gods of Anarchy series. Like, that's right, like the Gods of Anarchy series was supposed to be one episode. But I really like the idea of having a series and like continuing it, because it's kind of like a milestone, so you can see how much you've improved. Like, looking at episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually 5, I feel like there have been massive leaps in quality with each entry. So, after Minecraft Attack, I developed the idea for Gods of Anarchy episode 4, or scenario for 40 afterwards. So I just made a really quick filler scenario, Meteor's Reign, number 39, on June 6, 2024. As a lot of you have noticed, in A Race Against Time, I took inspiration from Betrayed, but I tried to make it more original and have more of a narrative. I mean, I guess Betrayed had kind of a narrative, but I made it fit into the Gods of Anarchy narrative instead of just having it be its own thing. This was my first like big video. Like, this video was almost an hour long, and I'm still extremely proud of it. It was also the first premiere I did on my channel on June 22nd, 2024. I've always wanted to do premieres, but I felt like I never had a big enough video to justify it. But for this one, I gladly premiered it, and it exploded. So that's pretty cool. So after that, I released number 41, All Falls Down, on July 26, 2024. I reached 600 subscribers on August 3rd, 2024. I released Volcanic Havoc on August 25th, 2024. This is where it all goes downhill. I had the ambitious idea to make a Hypercane scenario. YP released this scenario, I can't remember when, but I took a look at it and I was like, you know what if I made this actually, like, not just one alert? Like, what if I actually tried to imagine a Hypercane hitting the US? I knew this was going to be big and everything like that, but I never, ever knew how mentally draining this would be. I created the doc for it on August 27th, and I finished it on October 15th, which I think is the longest I've ever worked on a scenario before. But, oh man, this one, it was stressful, dude. It was not good. There was a comment made a couple days after the scenario premiered, which talked about repetition, and I fully agree. But the thing is, my format is very inspired by SPC Hermitage. Like, I use the same font he does. I have, like, the time cards. I use the screens he does. But one thing I've never really liked about Hermitage's scenarios is that he often makes EAS alerts for stuff, but then he makes a news report that basically covers the same stuff. Like, I already heard this. I don't need to hear it again. So I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to challenge myself and not use an overbearing amount of news reports. I only wanted to use news reports if they would make the scenario useful. And I also didn't want to use any radio segments, because if you notice, I use radio segments where I promote my own music. Not sorry at all. But they take about a minute and a half. So I wanted to just challenge myself and not use an overbearing amount of news reports or radio sections. And it still is over an hour long, which I guess proves I did something right. So I'm still moderately proud about A Storm of All Storms, but I have mixed feelings about it just because of what it did to my mental health and the overall burnout I experienced while making it. Like, it was not good. But anyway, after I finished it and premiered it on October 18th, I just kind of decided I was done with ES scenarios at that point. So I decided to make a goal to get to scenario 50, and then I would end it. And that's where I am now. Scenario number 50. Or I haven't made it yet, but I'm getting there. Anyway, that's the end of Season 6, the relative schedule, and the start of Season 7, the final season, the stretch to 50. So, talking about the Storm of All Storms, it exploded. Like, oh my freaking goodness. It got 2,000 views in 6 days. It took scenario 40, A Race Against Time, my last big scenario, 11 days to get 1,000. Like, I don't know why it blew up. Like, I don't know. I guess people really like long scenarios, which, if you do, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll release more long scenarios. But I might not, simply because I just don't want to go through the mental burnout and everything like that again. But anyway, it got 750 views in the first day on October 19th, making it the most views in a day I've ever gotten. And then the first scenario as part of the Stretch to 50, Waterborne, released on November 27th, 2024. Randomly, I had a bunch of motivation, and over a weekend, I made number 44, which was the dinosaur scenario, Crustaceous Crisis. I made it on December 1st. I released it on December 1st, 2024, which, fun fact, is the shortest gap between episodes 8 and 9, back in 2022. I'm not even joking. Anyway, after that, I released Rise of the Animal Kingdom on number 45 on December 15th, 2024. I released a Christmas scenario on December 21st, 2024, which recently blew up as well. I don't know why. I finally reached 100,000 views on December 26th, 2024. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very thankful that you guys just like to watch my stuff. And most recently, I reached 700 subscribers on January 16th, 2025. I released scenario number 46, Day of the Raid Show, on January 19th, 2025. I created the Scenario 50 document on January 20th, 2025. Like, it's created, and I've been working on it for a little bit, but it's nowhere close to being done. Anyway, I released Moonfall, number 47, on February 2nd, 2025. I released Scenario number 48, Second Civil War, on February 13th, 2025. And then most recently, I released Severe Solar Storm on February 22nd, 2025. And I'm actually really proud of Severe Solar Storm, because for the last half of it, I used like a radio segment, but it's definitely up there, actually. I had a lot of fun making it. So here we are, actually. I have no idea when this video is going to be uploaded, because I'm recording this on February 26th, which is only like 4 days after Severe Solar Storm has been created, and I have not made anything as part of Scenario number 50 yet, but I will here announce, if you are still listening, which, if you are, props to you, it will premiere on May 15th, 2025. And the reason I picked that specific date is because that will be the 3rd anniversary of my channel. So I just wanted to have something more symbolic. I knew I wanted to get to number 49 before May 15th, so that way I had ample time to make it. So now that I'm there, I have as much time as I need to make the scenario. I know there will be occasional content coming out in March and April, like this, and I have something special coming out on April 6th, so that's pretty cool. And then another compilation, which I don't know why the compilations don't do that well. I personally kind of like the compilations, but I guess they're not for everybody. So with that said, thank you guys so much for, well, first off, listening and having to put up with this for 30 minutes. But thank you guys so much for just being around and checking out my stuff. Like, I never thought I was the best scenario creator, and I also understand that not a lot of people create EA scenarios anymore, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is, and you can't really do anything about it. But just thank you guys so much for checking out my stuff. Like, I'm very grateful. I never thought I would... Oh, wow. I was just really interrupted. But anyways, I never thought I would get 700 subscribers. It's more than I expected. My music channel, for reference, even though I promote it in almost every scenario, it's still stuck at 143 subscribers. This is not a plug to subscribe, by the way. I know my music isn't the best either. It's just a hobby of mine. But I just find it funny. My ES channel has 5 times the amount of subscribers as my music channel does. That's just crazy to me, I think. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed learning about my channel history, make sure to like and subscribe. Be on the lookout for Scenario 50 coming to you May 15th, 2025. I am putting that on the record so that way I can actually start making it and I don't procrastinate, because I will procrastinate because I have a lot of stuff to do with AP exams. Like, I'm in 3 AP classes right now. One of them is AP Physics. which if you don't know has a 40% pass rate. So that's fun. But I'm putting it out there now that it is coming. You'll have other stuff to watch in the meantime. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. And I will see you all for the premiere of my last scenario. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.